In the misty valleys of Tuscany, where the autumn fog clung to the ancient olive groves like a shroud, Elena Rossi stared out from the balcony of her family's crumbling villa. The air was crisp, laced with the scent of damp earth and ripening grapes from the vineyards below. It was October, and the leaves had turned a fiery red, mirroring the rage simmering in her chest. For 3 months, her mother, Isabella, had ignored her intimately, not just the casual dismissals of a busy matriarch, but a deliberate, cutting silence that severed the fragile threads of their bond. No more late-night confessions over Chianti, no shared glances across the dinner table laden with prosciutto and pecorino. When Elena finally cornered her in the sun-dappled kitchen, her voice trembling, "Mama, why? Why have you shut me out like this?" Isabella's eyes, cold as the Arno in winter, flicked up from her espresso. "None of your business," she snapped, turning away to fuss with the rosemary sprigs on the windowsill. Elena felt the words like a slap, echoing through the generations of Rossi women who had endured secrets buried deeper than the Etruscan ruins dotting the hills. The family estate, Villa Rossi, perched on a ridge overlooking Siena, had been in their lineage for centuries, a testament to resilience amid wars, famines, and betrayals. But resilience came at a cost. Elena's grandmother, Nonna Lucia, had whispered tales of her own mother's infidelity during the war, a scandal hushed up to preserve the family's honor. Isabella, shaped by that shadow, had married Elena's father Marco, not for love, but for the stability his banking fortune brought. Marco, a stern Milanese transplant, had died 5 years ago in a car crash on the winding roads to Florence, leaving behind a web of debts and unspoken resentments. Elena's motive for revenge wasn't born of petty spite. It rooted in the generational trauma that had poisoned their bloodline. As a child, she'd idolized Isabella, the elegant woman who commanded the household staff with a velvet glove, hosting lavish parties where politicians and artists mingled under crystal chandeliers. But beneath the facade lay cracks. Isabella's favoritism toward Elena's younger brother, Luca, who inherited Marco's sharp business acumen and the bulk of the estate's management. Elena, with her artistic soul and dreams of painting in Rome, was always the afterthought, her intimacy with her mother a rare gift doled out like alms. Those 3 months of silence? They began after Elena discovered a hidden letter in the attic, yellowed with age, revealing Isabella's affair with Marco's brother, Uncle Gianni, decades ago. It explained Luca's uncanny resemblance to Gianni, not Marco. The betrayal wasn't just marital. It fractured the family's core, making Elena question her own place in the lineage. Luca, now 28, lived in the villa's east wing, overseeing the vineyards with a team of migrant workers from Romania. He was charming, with Isabella's dark curls and a smile that disarmed rivals in boardrooms. But his motivations were laced with insecurity. He knew the whispers about his paternity, though Isabella denied them fiercely. "Family is blood," she'd say, her voice ablade. Gianni, exiled to a modest apartment in Pisa after the affair's exposure, nursed his own grudges, cut off from the wealth he'd helped build through shady deals in the 80s. He chain-smoked on his balcony, overlooking the leaning tower, plotting ways to reclaim his share, his health failing from years of regret. Elena's revenge unfolded slowly, like the fog rolling in at dawn. She began by feigning reconciliation, inviting Isabella for walks through the cypress-lined paths where wild boars rustled in the underbrush. The air grew colder as November approached, rain pattering on terracotta roofs, mirroring Elena's calculated detachment. She confided in Luca subtly, planting seeds of doubt. Have you ever wondered why Papa treated you differently? Luca's eyes narrowed, his loyalty to Isabella wavering under the weight of ambition. He wanted to expand the vineyards, but Isabella controlled the finances, her iron grip a remnant of Marco's will. Psychological tension built in the villa's shadowed halls. Elena uncovered more secrets. Bank statements hidden in Isabella's jewelry box, showing transfers to Gianni over the years. Hush money, perhaps, or lingering affection. The moral dilemma gnawed at her. Exposing this could destroy Luca, who idolized the mother who'd shielded him. Yet, the betrayal fueled her. Isabella's "none of your business" wasn't just dismissal. It was a wall guarding the family's rot. Elena grappled with her conscience during sleepless nights, the wind howling through cracks in the stone walls as she sketched portraits of her family, distorted, haunting reflections of their fractured souls. Side characters emerged with depth. Maria, the elderly housekeeper who'd served since Nonna Lucia's time, knew everything but spoke little, her wrinkled hands kneading dough in the kitchen while offering cryptic advice. Blood calls to blood, signorina, but vengeance devours the heart. Her motivation was loyalty to the estate, not the people. She'd seen generations rise and fall. Then there was Sophia, Elena's childhood friend from the village below, now a lawyer in Siena. Sophia's realistic drive stemmed from her own family's poverty. She helped Elena dig into legal records, uncovering Gianni's claims on the property through an old partnership agreement with Marco. Power struggles intensified as winter blanketed Tuscany in frost. Snow dusted the hills, rare and ethereal, turning the landscape into a monochrome painting. Elena orchestrated a family gathering for Christmas, the villa aglow with fairy lights strung across the loggia. The atmosphere was thick with unspoken accusations. Luca confronted Isabella about the funds, his voice echoing in the grand salon where portraits of ancestors glared down. "Is it true about Uncle Gianni?" he demanded, wine glass shattering in his grip. Isabella's face paled, the fire crackling in the hearth casting demonic shadows. "None of your business," she hissed again, but this time it cracked, her eyes betraying fear. Elena's slow-burn revenge peaked in the climax. She invited Gianni to the villa under the guise of reconciliation, the old man arriving in a battered Fiat, coughing from the chill. In the library, amid leather-bound tomes smelling of mildew, she revealed the letters to all. The room erupted. Luca's fury at the deception, Isabella's desperate pleas, Gianni's triumphant smirk turning to horror as Elena exposed his embezzlement from the family business years ago, proof Sophia had unearthed. Moral dilemmas collided. Elena hesitated, seeing her mother's vulnerability, the woman who'd sacrificed love for duty. But the generational trauma won out. "This is our business now," Elena declared, her voice steady as the ancient oaks outside. The resolution was tragic, yet satisfying. Isabella, broken, signed over control to Elena and Luca equally, retreating to a convent in the Apennines. Her spirit shattered like the frost-cracked vines. Luca, grappling with his identity, left for Milan to start anew, his bond with Elena forged in shared pain. Gianni faced charges, his final days in obscurity. Elena stood alone on the balcony as spring thawed the land, wildflowers blooming in riotous color. The revenge had cleansed the family curse, but at what cost? Her heart, once intimate with hope, now echoed with solitude. The Tuscan sun set, painting the sky in blood-red hues, a cinematic end to a saga of betrayal and redemption. Yet, in the quiet evenings, Elena painted again, not distortions, but truths. The villa breathed easier, its secrets aired like laundry on the line. Revenge, she realized, was a double-edged sword, cutting deep into the Avenger's soul. As summer returned, with cicadas singing in the heat, she walked the vineyards, feeling the earth's pulse. Authentic, unyielding, much like the Rossi legacy she'd reclaimed back in the fog-shrouded October mornings. Elena's days blurred into a ritual of quiet observation. She'd rise before dawn, the villa's wooden floors creaking underfoot, to watch Isabella from afar. Her mother, in a silk robe, would stand by the window, gazing at the distant spires of Siena's Duomo, her face etched with lines of unspoken sorrow. The cultural fabric of Tuscany wove through their lives, the festas in the village square, where accordions played tarantellas and locals gossiped over Vinsanto. Elena attended alone now, the laughter ringing hollow without her mother's arm linked in hers. The psychological tension deepened with Elena's internal monologues. She questioned her path. Was revenge worth fracturing the family further? Generational trauma whispered in her ear, memories of Nonna Lucia's stories, how her great-grandmother had poisoned a rival suitor in the 19th century. A tale romanticized in family lore, but reeking of desperation. Elena's motive crystallized during a storm-lashed night, thunder booming over the Chianti Hills, when she found Isabella's diary. Entries revealed not just the affair, but Isabella's regret over aborting a child from Gianni, a secret that explained her overprotectiveness of Luca and disdain for Elena's frivolous art. Side characters gained layers. Luca's girlfriend Beatrice, a fiery Florentine architect motivated by her own family's bankruptcy, pushed him toward independence. "Don't let her control you," she'd say, her eyes sparkling under the olive trees during stolen picnics. Maria, the housekeeper, revealed her own secret. She'd been Gianni's confidant, smuggling letters for years, driven by pity for the outcast. Power dynamics shifted subtly. Elena befriended the vineyard workers, learning Romanian phrases over shared polenta, gaining allies who whispered of Isabella's harsh labor practices. This built alliances, adding social environment authenticity, modern Italy's immigrant workforce clashing with old aristocracy. As December's chill set in, snow blanketing the terracotta roofs like powdered sugar, the family dinner turned pivotal. Vivid emotions flared. Isabella's hands trembling on her fork, Luca's jaw clenched, Gianni's wheezy laugh. The climax extended, arguments spilling into the courtyard, rain mixing with tears. Elena's revelation included forged documents she'd created, a moral low, implicating Isabella in tax evasion. Resolution. Isabella's departure was heart-wrenching, her final words a whisper. "I did it for the family." Elena's satisfaction mingled with tragedy. She restored the villa, turning it into an artist's retreat, healing the trauma. Luca returned sporadically, their relationship mended. In the end, as golden summer light bathed the landscapes, Elena found peace, the revenge a bitter but necessary purge.